Hello everyone, I'm And More Bus Videos, or otherwise known as And More Central, and welcome to this incredibly exciting video on OMSI 2, the bus simulator. So as I did promise in the last of the OMSI 2 videos on the And More Central channel, I would get the sound installed properly on this bus. And as we start up the bus, to get all the lights on, you'll hear that's a proper Volvo Olympian. So yes, the sounds are now installed, as you can hear, and also what's quite cool is I now can't switch this bus off because that's how it's set at the moment. So before we continue any further with this video, I just want to point out that the bus we are driving was released as a public alpha. At the time of filming, it hasn't been re-released. The link got taken down. Initially it was uploaded as a public by V3D, and then the link got taken down. So the vehicle at the moment is not sort of publicly available. It was, as I say, for a brief time, that's why we've ended up with the bus in this video. But for those of you that are wanting it, presumably V3D has got enough people now testing it in alpha stages to see what it's like, to find out the other stuff, and probably the next release, if we don't see sort of the alpha re-emerge, will be the full release of the bus. So till then, I will be showing the vehicle in a number of videos and things like that, driving it on a number of routes, just so you can get a bit of a taster to see what it's like before it's properly fully released. But do bear in mind, till then, with it being an alpha release, there are some stuff that doesn't represent the final product. There's some things that aren't finished. There's things that are still a work in progress. One of those things is the fact that I can't now switch off the bus. Another thing, for example, is the ticket machine doesn't work. It's just sort of a block at the moment, and a few other bits and bobs like that. So do bear in mind, this is just an alpha release of the bus. It doesn't represent the final product. With that in mind as well, comes my second disclaimer about the map. The map, I'm quite lucky in the way that the amazing UKDT have given me a copy of this map to test out and to show you all. I'm very, very lucky in the way that I've been given the opportunity. This currently is Westcountry version 3.03 of the work in progress map. So do again bear in mind that this does not represent the final product. You may see objects that aren't where they should be. You'll find that the route that we're driving as well hasn't been set up with timings of a route yet. So we are just driving it around with no passengers on. And just bear in mind the things like that. So with all of that out of the way, welcome to OMSI 2, the brand new Westcountry Totnes extension. It's a work in progress with the alpha release work in progress Volvo Olympian by V3D. There we go, I think I covered all the bases with that. For now, we'll make a move out of the depot. So this is the new Totnes depot, and in this video we are going to be driving the 1A service that runs from Totnes bus station, and it goes, I believe it does a clockwise loop around Totnes. It'll include a few bits that link in with the existing 35 and X35 route that you will recognise, and there are also sections of this that are brand new sorted parts of the map, such as, for example, this bit of where we're leaving the depot. Bear in mind the old depot used to be on the Totnes industrial estate. There we go. Used to be on the Totnes industrial estate. It's now here instead. So it's been relocated in the town centre. I have done a little trip round on this route off camera to obviously make sure that it's all here, because although I was in the understanding that it was all here, it's always just worth checking before you start filming a video and then find out it isn't. So you'll notice that with the sounds, this bus sounds amazing. This bus sounds pretty amazing. Obviously, again, bear in mind some of the traffic lights aren't set up, like that one on our left-hand side. Again, with this being a work in progress, it's currently sort of in the beta testing, so you will notice things that aren't finished, things that are going to be reworked. So bearing in mind that when this is released, and as you will see, by how much has been done. That is going to be happening pretty soon. You will notice that some stuff may have changed between this video and the final release, and all of that lovely stuff. I will also be doing a video on the other service, the W.I.P, that goes the other way in due course. Look out for that video next week. So, although for now, I hope you enjoy this one. So we'll pull into the bus station. Again, this hasn't been set up yet. However, this at the moment is the only route that starts and finishes in the bus station. So we'll put our... see what lines we've got. Put something quirky once I can find something. Again, bear in mind that this isn't the blind it's going to be using, this is just a random setup of destination that I've done. You'll also notice I've registered the bus as L601 PWR, that was previously Yorkshire Rider 5601, and then also I believe 30781 with First West Yorkshire. As I say, this is just a very random blind, putting something up rather than anything. So 5601 is in preservation. It's going to be one of these longer term projects, unfortunately, so don't expect to see it on the road anytime soon. However, there was another L PWR for sale recently. I believe that has been sold onto another preservationist. Could be wrong, but I'm hoping it has, because these LPWRs are quite nice. To the best of my knowledge, they are VoIP, so you'll have to excuse the fact that it is a VoIP setup, and this vehicle represents a quite specific batch at the moment. However, I would expect other variations of Volvo Olympian sounds to be released with the final product, so do bear that in mind. So as I say, we only get the VoIP versions for now, but for those of you that watched the video on the M1 Central channel, if you want something to do, go and check it out. It's still up there, and you'll notice that last video we did with this with the Volvo B7 sounds. This makes a bit of a difference. So these new sounds definitely make a big impact. Really do with this. I didn't see that car, and that went incredibly fast. Oh dear, these things happen. So we'll just ignore that, because they were going way too fast for that. And most cars, if they saw the bus pulling out that needed a little bit of space, they would slow down. So yeah, again, the AR patterns and things, they'll be getting sorted in due course. And you'll notice initially, as soon as we leave Totnes bus station, instead of turning left, we are turning right. So you will recognise again some of this from the currently existing extension. Oh, cycle track. Currently existing extension of the 35 to the industrial estate. However, you will also notice that quite a lot of this has also been reworked. I can't tell you what is what, unfortunately, because it has been quite a while since I've driven the industrial estate extension on the 35. So more on this bus, and this vehicle is created by V3D, the very talented V3D, the creator of the E200's MMC, the ALX400 B7s, the Dennis Trident ALX400s, and the Digibus Phantom, otherwise known as the DAF DB250 Spectra. So this will be joining those vehicles. You'll notice off the mark, as well as I will be demonstrating, this bus has incredibly nippy acceleration off the mark. It's very nice to drive from that perspective. Very nippy acceleration off the mark. It is limited to 40 at the moment. Unsure obviously if that will be how it is released, if we'll get something that's ever so slightly faster. Unfortunately that's not something I can answer at the moment. But this is the vehicle that we've currently got. Let's see, where's the sunlight? Not where we want it to be, okay. That's the quick answer. There we go. That'll do. A nice bit of a screenshot. That's as good as we're gonna get. So let's continue. So it's a lovely bus. I mean, it's quite timely that we've been given the test base for the map at the same time for this bus. Has also sort of, I've been given it as soon as this bus has sort of been in its alpha release. It was one of these vehicles that was obviously being at the right place at the right time, and as I say, the link has since been taken down, presumably because V3D now has enough people testing it. Because if it is like a public alpha or something, you've got to be so careful how you release things like that. And you tend to find with these kind of things, they'll release it to a set number of people, or they'll keep the download up for a set amount of time to get the amount of people that they require, and then take it down, because obviously you don't want everybody to have it, as then it's not really in an alpha stage anymore, it's sort of like a sub-release. So you've got to be quite careful how you do these kind of things. So it is quite nice to be driving one of these, and I have seen on the forums and Fellows Film, as you will have all seen as well, there's been some nice repaints made for this, and that I am looking forward to driving in. One of the specific ones I'm looking forward to driving in is the Transit repaint, representing the MREG Olympians that they got on the T side. M223 is one that I've been on. You'll have noticed it on the Ammo Central videos when I went to Skipton. I went on it on the Skipton run. I also went on that was when they first got it. And it's been lovingly restored and preserved by the Middlesbrough 500 group. Good friends of mine, very nice people. Very nice people, and they know what they're doing. So that's a bus that's in safe hands. So when I saw it, sticking kids off, don't need that on. But when I saw it, saw the repaint of it, I looked at thought, when something just suits a bus, even in the simulator, when it just suits a bus, it's just quite nice. So you notice the bus stops on the other side say 1B, as I say, that's because it is a circular. I believe these are the town circulars. So for the next video, I will probably drive something a little bit smaller than this. Speaking of vehicles a little bit smaller, the V3D Optare Solo is still being worked on at the moment. There'll be more sort of news on the simulation section bit on Talking Buses and on the Ammo Central channel when that returns. But just sort of a little bit of a look at for now. There's a bit of work taking place with that. Having watched some of the videos and seen some of the screenshots, it is looking very nice. So it is one I'm looking forward to. You'll see more on that and why that's the case next year on the main channel. I'm looking forward, especially to the M8 the repaints that can be created on that. So obviously, because we're not picking people up and the traffic levels are quite low, we will be finishing this route a fair bit shorter, like in a quicker period of time, than you usually would when you're sort of driving it and it's time to double. Also with the fact that I do drive pretty quick in this game, so do also bear that in mind. So it's definitely up to the same, as can be expected now, high standards of the UK development team and the IMX who initially started the Westcountry. It is a very nice one, very nice map, always has been. With every update we seem to be given something new, and what's even more exciting is although there's a lot of payware going on, especially in games like Train Simulator, but also expanding now into 1 to 2, it is always really nice for those people that are still looking into investing in the game for the first time. There's still a lot of freeware stuff such as this map. So this map, to the best of my understanding, it has always been a free release in the past, and I am led to believe that that will be the case going into this next release. Although we have to be careful on what else I say in the release, there's a few bits that I can't mention yet, unfortunately. But I am aware that these aren't going to be the only routes on this new release of the map. These are the routes that for now are finished, and just sort of obviously waiting the last finite bits of detail. And timetables and scheduling sorted, but there will also be additional routes on this map. So as I say, I can't reveal too much on them at the moment. I do know that some of them have had a proper route dedicated, have had a number dedicated, and some of them are still quite fluid on the way, that they're being structured and planned. So do just bear that in mind. These aren't going to be the only routes in the next release. What's quite exciting from the perspective of somebody like myself that does like to drive on maps that have a load of different routes on them. You remember my old releases and maps and things going back years ago. I'm one of these, I like to create a load of different routes, loads of different towns, different hubs, all of that lot. This map in the next release has got a really localised focus on it. So there's going to be a lot of, instead of having your A to B services, it's going to be services around point A and services around point B. That kind of structure. Such as this, for example, where these are the topless circuits. So it basically means there's a lot more to do. You'll be able to utilise the depot with Totness a bit more, it'll have a bit more of a purpose, but you'll also be able to base yourself out of paint and still do your 35s, your X35s, and sort of your 12s and things like that. So there is that variety present. So you notice that this is the bit of the 35 and the X35 as it comes out of Totness at the moment. They then turn left, and then the 35 splits off to Berry Pomeroy and all of that lot, and the continuous painting. For us, we are turning right and we are heading back into the town centre. So we still have other bits of new route to conquer. In this, it is another part of the estate, but we do rejoin back onto the 35 and X35 route for the main bit down the high street. So you will like some of the roads that are coming up, and they'll be especially nice to contrast when we do the 1B route as well. Now I've spent quite a lot of time off camera driving this Olympian as well, since the last video I did on it. Once I got the sound sorted, I just spent the entire evening just driving it around before it cut out on me. I haven't really had. Let's just pause this for a sec while this loads in. As you can see, some bits are taking longer again. This is because this is a work in progress, and there were some bits that still need sort of the polish reducing, stuff like that, to make them loading quicker. So things like this, again, you just got to bear in mind it is a work in progress, and when this map is released, that transition and how things load will be a lot quicker. Because having known some of the members of the UKDT for quite a bit of time now, I'm quite lucky in that way. I do know how talented they are in sorting things like that, and they are the kind of people that won't rest until something is perfect. So I'm very safe hands with that. So this is the castle. So again, you get this sense that these routes, instead of just being your standard let's go around a couple of housing estates and that's kind of it, you get this sense with these routes, as you do everything on the Westcountry map, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more interest. There's a lot more variety. It gives a fair one to see. You're not just driving around doing circuits of housing estates. It's like we've done a couple of housing estates, now we're looping by the castle, now we're going down sort of a chicane hill and things like that, and you'll see where we finish at the bottom, and you really get this sense that the concept behind the map, like the structure of it, has really been well thought through. Like it's not just been sat there and gone, oh, let's make it easy and do a couple of housing estates and that's it. They need to sit down and go, hang on a sec, let's make a map that's interesting. Let's make different gradients. Let's make different sort of walls, different areas of the route, different sort of all of that lot, like different textures, things like that. It's adding that variety into the map to ensure that it's interesting. It's not just your run of the mill kind of map. There's more to it. Oh my goodness, you just watched it. Again, work in progress bits on the map. But there's just a lot more going on. And you tend to find this with this map compared to other releases, that there is just a lot more. You take the best, some of the best talents in the OMSI map building world, and you give them a project like this, and there's just so much achievement. And then it's like you look back on the base Westcountry map when it was just a 35, and the entire map got pretty much built from scratch all over again. Paynton got demolished and rebuilt. Totnes got demolished and rebuilt. And as most of the map makers, I mean, including myself, when I used to make maps, I used to be so reluctant to demolish an entire area and rebuild it again. And it's just something that they just absolutely nail. It really always impresses me. And I mean, it's like even with this route, like we're going back into town centre now, but even with this route, you've got a castle, you've got housing estates, you've got that massive hill as you come down from the castle. It's all realistic. We should have a castle on a hill geographically. They'd be on a hill because of the history behind them. They built castles on hills many hundreds of years ago because that would give them a good vantage point over their enemies and things like that. And yes, it's a fictitious map now, but there's still this consideration there of going, hang on a sec, how would this location actually look if it was planted in real life in the Westcountry? And these ideas are there. It's not just using a name and making it like just housing estates. There's a lot more to it, a lot more variety. Why have you stopped? Oh, you're letting everybody out on the roundabout that you have priority on. Oh, and now we're all stuck. Okay. Oh, we'll just have to... yeah, we'll just destroy the van. I mean, why not? There we go, and then we will pull back into the bus station. So there we go. So that was the new 1A on the Westcountry map. As I say, very nice route. As you can expect, nowadays it's to the usual incredible high modelling standards that the UK development team offers. And once again, as I do always say in these videos, a big thank you for them for retaining me on, keeping me on the sort of testing team and allowing me access to the sort of tests of the map and the ability to showcase it to you all, as I'm quite lucky in the way that because you all watch these videos, that I do greatly appreciate. It does also mean that I can showcase this content to you because there's enough for you watching to make it worthwhile. So yes, as I say, a big thank you to the UK development team for passing this map over as usual, keeping me on their forums and to be able to test out these maps, have a little drive and see what they're like and show you all. Again, I do incredibly appreciate that. This was the 1A service that we've done, as I say, between now and the release. They've got a fair bit to do on other routes and sort of other finite bits on this map, as you noticed. So bearing in mind that this is still in testing, between now and when you drive it on its release, stuff may change, the routes may get remodeled, parts of the scenery may be edited, the time, the route number, anything could change between now and the release. So do bear in mind that it is just in testing, but at the moment, this is what they've got with the 1A, and next week's video, I will show you the 1B service as well that goes around the other way, but we'll obviously see different parts of the scenery because we're looking at it from a different direction and all of that kind of stuff. The bus itself as well is the V3D Volvo Olympian that you can expect to see soon. To be able to download. Unfortunately, I don't know much of the finite details on the situation with this payware, freeware kind of release. So again, just keep an eye out on the forums for that. And sort of keep up to date with it all, as there will be information. You can check out the Digibus preservation page website that you can find by typing in Digibus preservation into Google, and it will give you some details on this bus as well as the other projects that V3D is working on. At the moment, though, as I said at the beginning of the video, at this time of filming, the bus was released very briefly as a public alpha release for people to test out, and then the link has since been taken down. So presumably, as I say, there are enough people now testing it that means it doesn't need to be sort of kept on the download. So if it doesn't get sort of updated as another sort of testing release, I will continue to show you a few videos of this between now and its release, just to keep you all excited about it and to showcase any repaints and any other extra bits and bobs that may be released in the meantime. For now, though, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have done, do be sure to click that like button so that more people can find it and enjoy like you have. And if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe to the And More Bus Videos channel for more content like this from the simulation section, as well as an archive of over 4,500 backseat and engine-focused videos from the past and present in the real-life bus industry. Do be sure as well to check out my main channel and More Central for more content from the real life bus industry, including my network reviews, sort of brand launches, like fleet reviews, interviews, and the all new series of Talking Buses that will be starting up very soon, alongside some other exciting series that you can look forward to as well. Once again, though, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Do keep sending in your suggestions in the comment section below, and I will see you all in the next one I make. Bye for now. Bye.